In this video, I've got some exciting news about a video that I just released a few weeks ago in which I asked you, the community, for your best gardening advice for gardening in a small space, namely an apartment balcony. And wow, did you really come through? We received almost 1,000 emails and quite a number of comments on that video. The city prepping team, we sat down and we've gone through and we've processed all these emails and we're actually still working on it. But I wanted to start off by saying thank you. It has gone a long way to really educate myself so that I can get this right when I go about doing these video series to help you understand how to grow in a limited space, namely an apartment balcony. Second, I'm reporting back to you that I want to let you know some of the common themes that emerge from all that good advice and to let you know how it will take form in coming videos on the channel over the next several months. It's also important that the advice that we give at City Prepping is actionable and scalable. If you watch the video, and I'll post a link to it up in the cards above, I mentioned that I'm dividing up a large patio area on the side of my house into 3 separate areas to demonstrate various patio gardening configurations. And I asked for your best approaches to do that. And I knew our community of preppers was the best group to throw that question out to on how to best do this. And I got a lot of information back, and I've got a lot of work I'm gonna have to do on my end to really plan this out. I will be the first to tell you that our community ranges from windowsill gardeners and microgreen growers to master gardeners to hydroponic enthusiasts and grow tent garage growers. Growing enough food to completely sustain you after disaster. It's not a reality for many, but these small gardens aren't really meant to do that. They're more for you to learn the art of growing and for boosting your supplies regardless of inflation, disasters, or significant supply chain disruptions. Now, with that in mind, our first priority will be to maximize yield in the smallest footprint of an area. Armed with this information that you, the community, have provided, here's what you can expect next. We're going to be creating a series of videos that are going to build on top of each other, which will add to a playlist later to provide you with all the foundational information you need to get going to grow in a small space. Some of the videos that we're going to be working on shortly, they're going to help you to determine, for example, what you can grow in your area. This goes beyond just agricultural zones, as many of you are growing plants that I've never even heard of before, some of the things that you've sent in to us. Now, we previously featured sunchokes and purslane on the channel. Still, we're looking into Egyptian walking onions, Malabar spinach, Herbacilla moringa, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, corn salad, amaranth, chiplin, edible flowers, and many others. These are common in other parts of the world, but you likely won't find them in your local grocery stores. Some of these plants, though, are plant them and forget them type of plants. That's personally what I always enjoy working with, things that I don't have to sit there and baby. They provide high yields, good nutrition, and large harvests, but they're also perennial and very forgiving for people like myself whose thumbs are less than green. I typically kill whatever I touch. And these type of plants are often overlooked. Most people would walk right by them and not even think of them as food. From an operational security or OPSEC standpoint, that makes them an excellent post-disaster food source. We're going to be doing at least one video just on soil alone. As you know, there's a difference, well, maybe you don't know, there's a big difference between just dirt and soil. As many people pointed out in the emails that were sent to us, the soil is a living thing, and the soil it's critical for you to get it right before you start any garden, because if you have it wrong, and I've personally experienced this, I've started with poor soil and I wasted a lot of time and money. The soil quality really determines your yield, assuming you're not doing hydroponics, which I'm also going to address later. Because soil is so important. We're going to be doing a video showing you how to remove toxins from soil, turn bad soil into good, add nutrients, compost, and vermicompost. We will literally be getting our hands dirty with this one. We're going to cover nutrients, soil amendments, building a worm tower, and vermicomposter. There were several different containers folks were using, from large troughs as we used for the sweet potato video that we recently did, to hay bales, to hanging 2-liter bottles, to vertical planting boxes, to 5-gallon food grade buckets. We've gotten a lot of different ideas from you, the community, and again, thank you. These were arranged in rows on wheels, stacked, and even hung from the plant hanging down from the bottom. We're going to try many of these methods in the city prepping garden area. And our focus will be to keeping those containers' weight and cost down, especially for you that live in an apartment that have a small balcony. We're going to try self-wicking methods and mixing low soil mediums with variations of hydroponics. Now, when it comes to hydroponics, aquaponics, aeroponics, and recirculating farms, all I can say is that there are some pretty elaborate systems out there, and a lot of that can go wrong. But there are some also pretty massive harvests of calories and nutrition when you have it going right. Many of the out-of-the-box systems, they're very cool, but they're also very expensive. I've been researching them for quite a while now. What we're going to do is we'll build a few of these systems ourselves to maximize our growing area. Now, the great thing about these systems is that they can be implemented indoors or outdoors, and that makes them great for OPSEC, which is short for operational security, keeping that information that you have a garden private so that if someone's looking for that type of food option, they're not going to come across just seeing yours on, in an open area. Now, these are also high yield, and you may not be able to meet all your calorie and nutrient requirements from them, but if you do it right, you can probably come pretty close. As with anything we do grow, we're going to be keeping track of cost, time, input, and yield because at the core of all this, we want what we do to be scalable and emulable. We want you to be able to follow along and to do the same thing. We want you to be able to view all these videos and be able to determine what is going to work best for you in your area. Fortunately for us, we are in Southern California, which is an agricultural zone 9A and B. That means that I can grow practically year-round where I live, but we realize that this is not the case for many of our viewers. We've heard from subscribers as far as Alaska and even Finland, where growing seasons are much shorter, and indoor gardening is really about the only way that you can grow some vegetables. We probably will do at least one video on light, assessing sunlight, and supplementing with grow lights. We will, however, try to make every effort possible to keep grow lights as off-grid friendly as possible because we want this to be a food source that you can turn to when supply chain and grid systems have failed. Of course, we have enough material to probably do a whole video on pest, insect, and vermin control. I will do all I can, and we're going to be intentional to avoid pesticides and poisons for a lot of different reasons. First, I don't want to eat the residue, though that's what you're getting from many popular grocery store purchased foods. I also know that poisons you put out for vermin travel up the food chain and take out larger and larger animals. So some rat poisons, for instance, they've been found in dead mountain lions, coyotes, wolves, and birds of prey. So our focus will be as organic and natural as possible. My area where I currently live, if you've seen in some of my videos, I'm backed up next to kind of a wild zone. There's this huge valley behind my house, and we have all kind of rodents I have to deal with. So I imagine that I'm going to have probably a lot of unwelcome visitors throughout the process of learning and showing this. And we're going to be trying several different methods of abatement, and we will be able to tell you what works best and what's a myth. I say that because we've been trying to build a better mousetrap for centuries, and many just don't work, in my opinion. It's hard to beat the old school, just snap traps, but again, we're going to look at different options to provide you with options when you go to set these gardens up. Now, there's also the insects and bugs that would eat your hard work. I know from personal experience that one tomato hornworm can destroy a tomato or a pepper plant overnight. I know one of our team members successfully used natural substances and companion planting to eliminate them. He also used companion planting to attract certain type of birds and maximize pollinators. I'm excited to see what comes out with this area that I'll be setting up. We also got a lot of great information to share with you about companion critters. Believe it or not, ferrets, rabbits, even quail and chickens can be leveraged to benefit your growing area. So, moving forward with major planting seasons in mind, we will focus the first set of videos on core issues like sun and soil and plant selection. We will also be building components and growing structures so we can demonstrate the process step by step. Our goal is really going to be to build several systems that you can build along with us and have ready to deploy this spring. Now again, we may be starting some of ours earlier because we have a better growing season than a lot of the country, but these videos are going to be evergreen. It doesn't matter when we do it, you'll be able to take and determine based off the information we give you when it's going to be best for you to get going, and you'll have this whole backlog, this library of information that we're going to be building out. This is also going to give us an opportunity to share our successes and failures, and I think that's important to share those as well, with one another as a community of growers and preppers. We can continue to learn best practices, tips, and tricks from each other. And there's a lot that I have to say about community that I'll be talking about in the next month, but again, this just really reaffirms to me the need to focus, I think, this channel more and more and try to encourage community and just encourage you as well to build it if you have it already. Because just this one example where I just asked for some simple help on something. Again, it was overwhelming to see your response. If you can build or deploy just one system with us when the warmer weather comes in the spring, you'll be far better off and better positioned after any disaster. Even without a disaster, you're going to save on your grocery bill and put higher quality food on your table. One of my friends jokes that he has grown a $100 tomato, and anyone who has started out gardening can attest to learning how to do it right can take tons of time. It takes energy, it takes income. But hopefully what we're going to be able to do is make the major mistakes for you so that you can reap the best benefits from the information that we provide after we make the mistakes and hopefully show you what works. In the coming weeks, we're going to release these core videos, build what we need to deploy in the 3 sections, and get this ready to deploy along with you in the springtime. Of course, we still will bring you the same great content regarding what you should be watching for in the world and preparing you to get ready for what may impact you. We will still be bringing you the other hands-on type of videos that we do that will hopefully help you to prep and become less dependent upon supply chains and systems that we repeatedly see failing. But I think this gardening component of the channel will be a great and informative section that will really help you in the long run. I have to be honest with you, I'm not the best grower. I've tried several gardens. Some have had successes, some limited success. Some things have grown, such and such. I've never really gotten to a point where I'm like, wow, I've finally achieved it. But I'm so glad that I have a great community to turn to help with this endeavor. It's taken a long time to go through all the feedback, and believe me, we have. So excited to take you along on this journey and use the information and the knowledge that you provided to hopefully do the best on our end to compile it and create actionable information that anyone can follow along with to put themselves on a path of self-sufficiency. That's, I think, at the end of the day, where the natural evolution of any prepper is to go from a point of being able to take care of themselves with supplies on hand, but there may come a day and a time where you'll burn through your supplies, and that's where you're going to have to learn to develop, or rather have these skills developed in advance that you can fall back on. Again, thanks to everyone who responded. Some with just a link or two, and some with pages and pages of personal notes. Some great things I believe will come out of all this, and we'll continue to compile it. We're still working through a lot of it as a team. We're going to try to translate it into a meaningful and digestible format for you. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and watch for this incredible content that will be coming out over the next few weeks and months. As always, stay safe out there.